Here we go.
There we go. Hello, everybody. I'd just like to welcome you once again, John Lindsay, the co-chair, vice chair. I guess he's a vice chair. Sudbury chapter of CARP has organized another Zoom meeting. It's a chance for us to share some new perspectives, some different perspectives, and from more involved people in our community. John, thank you very much for doing this. And our guests, I'm looking forward to meet today. Let's go right to it.
Well, we have, let's introduce our more attractive member in our guest community there, Carrie. I could have said Bob. I'm sorry, Bob. Carrie Waslick, is that the correct pronunciation, Carrie?
Correctly.
Hey, pretty good. And of course, Bob Johnson. Bob and I have known each other for years. We're both failed candidates in our last election, but we think things would have been different had we been elected, right, Bob?
Well, guaranteed, no doubt there.
But let's talk about a segment of the community that a lot of people, really don't understand. They don't have an appreciation for. And I guess, Carrie, we're talking about, and Bob, the homeless. Now, Carrie, maybe we can start off with this question here. Why do we have the homeless in the first place?
Why do we have the homeless? Basically, everything is unaffordable. There's no places to live. It's basically over $1,000 just to rent. There is no housing, proper housing, affordable housing. That would be where I would guess at. And I'm going to let...
It's also the breakdown in the systems where all basically organizations are top heavy. The front line is very weak, and basically the homeless does not get the proper attention and their needs serviced by the people actually going out on the street, caring for them, seeing exactly what they need and so on, which Tomorrow's Hope, which Carrie is right now, and bringing everybody together. Over the last 3 months since the virus started, we've been working on the street probably about 60 to 70 hours a week. They were left out. The last emergency plan from the greater city of Sudbury was made in 2006. It had no homeless, no addiction, or mental health fit, and it's never been updated since. So we were actually caught with the pants down with no plan whatsoever. I realized when the mayor called a state of emergency and we're talking yard sales that we are in serious trouble.
Well, the population, I'm aware of the population. I ran the casual workers pool for the Department of Immigration and Manpower some many years ago, so I got to know a lot of the homeless people, and they came from all walks of life. Some had, many had problems, as we used to call them back then, barriers to employment, which could include substance abuse and also many mental issues as well too. All very, very fine people, but really caught in unfortunate circumstances, and they seem to be almost forgotten or ignored, or they don't want to be recognized by the general community, it seems. And Bob also seems, which is unfortunate, because it appears that our representatives, those people we elect, are also somewhat in that category too, of not wanting to really address the issue. Am I wrong there, or is this, according to what I've been reading in the paper and understanding what you've been doing and Carrie's been doing, is this really the case?
Yes, it's 100% true. Out of everybody, there was 2 counselors out of the 12 what reached out to me. As far as the mayor and the other 10, they showed no interest whatsoever in the homeless. I fought when this started. They were left out on the street for 6 weeks, no showers, wearing the same clothes, no bathrooms, and we've been fighting ever since. Since Carrie must have opened the clothing store in this arena, we're seeing a lot of happy faces. Down on Elgin Street now, it's brand new running shoes from Bioped at no charge, and they're all cleaned up and they're starting to build up their self-esteem. The problem is the Band-Aid solutions right across the board from our city officials, such as the shelter. Why would that not be 24/7? An experience, a life experience, having their own roof. But no, they have to take out at 10 in the morning. They're allowed back in at 10 at night. They're hauling 100 pack sacks back and forth up and down the street. Yeah, it's been a real nightmare. And I'm actually born and raised in Sudbury. And I'm really embarrassed to say that because of the way the people have been treated on the street, whether it's the mental health, the homeless, the addictions, basically all three wrap around each other. But since we've opened a clothing store and stuff, it's been totally amazing that how the community as a whole is sharing their love and care and everything and just coming the bat for the homeless is starting to understand finally. But there again, I feel so bad that the city's saying, you know, like go on your computer for extra information and so on. Well, the homeless don't walk down Logan Street with computers in their back pockets. Did we have bylaw officers out educating these people? No, we did not. So what is, like I said, any solutions in this city must end. It must end now, moving forward. I did a video 3 months ago. I called it all out. I said what was going to happen with the homeless, with the mental health, with the addictions. Nobody wanted to listen. Now everything has doubled, and I said by the end of July we will be triple. And it's so sad that we're losing 14-year-old people and so on with overdoses and stuff. And the city really just don't want to go back. And
Can I just ask a question, Bob? And thank you to you and Carrie for being here. Now, not to pull out a particular segment of society, but CARP deals with, I mean, we're not ageist either, but often the 55-year-old plus group. Are there homeless people in that category here? I'm sure across the country there are. Is there a group of homeless that are 55 plus in Sudbury?
I would say we're probably at about 15 to 18%. And you know, I'm so proud. Yesterday, me and Carrie, we got a homeless off the street. He's got an apartment, and we even got him a maintenance job. So yeah, you know, but that's only like part of the battle, right? We have an organization in the city where we all got to pull it together, work together, move forward in order to do it. So homeless, we've dealt with somebody 16, 17 years old, and we've also dealt with somebody 70. We've also reunited 2 families so far on our journeys, and yeah, we're just going to keep going. If the city wants to support it, that's fine, and if not, well, you know what? Our journey is our journey, and these homeless people, mental health addictions are our second family. And
some might be somebody's father or mother. Some, of course, are somebody's grandchild. So, I mean, it does concern CARP very closely. I mean, these are our children, our grandchildren. Carrie, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you a healthcare professional? It looks like you're very much involved in. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I actually have my addictions counseling. I was an addiction counselor in Edmonton, and I also have my nursing. I've worked through the hospitals and various nursing homes. The one that I worked at the longest was for addictions counseling, and that was working through downtown and just seeing the downtown there. And now that I see the downtown here, it's creeping up, and that's like Edmonton.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Well, that's where I wanted to go, because, I mean, let's face it, the homeless population as a group is not just static, it's dynamic. And I'm wondering if COVID-19 and some of the things that we're experiencing, including, let's face it, more alcohol consumption, is and mental health issues around all of this. Bob, it must be pushing some people onto the new conveyor, onto that belt that's going to take them down to the road of being homeless as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, and like I said, we had no emergency plan, which was just disgusting. But the regular people who we call regular people are also going to be in a situation due to the mental health and not being able to reach out to get the counseling and the proper support, where they will be losing stuff, guaranteed. The GERB there, even that, it was a Band-Aid solution. Everything was done on computers if you were going to reach out to mental health or addiction counseling or so on. And there's so many people who don't have the access to it. We're in a real crisis in the city moving forward. And I really hope that there's going to be some key players who are going to become team players to solve some of these issues. Yeah, it's just a nightmare ready to happen.
It seems like other countries have done, I believe it's Finland has sort of a policy that we want to get homes for the homeless. And that seems to be a foundation on which people can rebuild their lives. Is that something that is a possibility, Carrie? Do you feel that, does this address some of the mental and the substance abuse issues by actually having a residence?
Yes. It gives them more of a self-worth, so they don't feel like they're so, like you said, they come from all different backgrounds, right? Like you could have one that was maybe a doctor or anything, and he could be ending up homeless because certain circumstances happen in their life. And we don't understand all of their stories. And we just take it, it's like, we all assume that because this person's on the street, that they're just not a good person. And they all have awesome stories. And I'm not scared of them. Like they're people like us. They bleed, they breathe, and they're no different. They're just, they had unfortunate circumstances and they need the help. And without the help, what do? They have nowhere to go. And this is where they need this help. And they're fortunate to even have people that actually care and want to move forward with that. Because everybody else, they couldn't care about anything.
I'm worried too about the larger sense of Northern Ontario. Let's face it, here we are 1C, but there's the small towns around us with all kinds of things that they don't even have the services for. Like, are we seeing people from Espanola showing up here in Sudbury or Massey or they're not even used to a bigger city. Is that part of the problem too? They've come from smaller towns and now they're in big cities.
Well, actually, we've been getting a lot over the last, I'd say, 6 weeks from Manitoulin Island, actually. And then we also have, I would say, probably about 20 new people in town who've come from up north on the train. One of the things what really disturbs me is Carrie and myself have worked very hard. We've had 65. We've dealt with everybody on the street, basically. Okay, I know. I would say out of every 10, we know 9. We've had 65% where they were all willing to get into apartments and move forward and so on. And I told the city that the key thing was the weather. We had to get them now or we're going to lose them as it started getting warmer. Well, you know what? We're losing a lot. So I'm probably down to about 30% now, where the homeless has to do 25 hurdles in order to get anywhere. Me personally, if it was me and I was homeless, I would just kick over the hurdle because there's so much fighting and stuff involved. You have to have all your ID. You have to have your application for it filled out properly. And then you get to that point and they say, well, you know what? You probably got about 1,500 ahead. Well, why? It doesn't make any sense, right? So even like the motel, the Band-Aid shelter solution of being in for 12 hours, like there's no reason why that's not 24/7. There's no reason why we're not all working together. There's no reason why these people are not treated humanly. And there again, 6 weeks without washrooms, 6 weeks without showers, wearing the same clothes, that's not human. And for the mayor and 10 out of the 12 councillors not to reach out, I'm like, oh my God, like it's such a sad story. Even the
So John, we're the overdoses. John, we're the 26th largest city in Canada, something like that. Maybe 25th, hopefully. John, do we have a vacancy rate that allows for us to find?
Well,
I think you know better.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting situation. According to what we understand is that there could be economies actually by coming together and realizing what we can do rather than this piecemeal. Bob, of course, knows much better than I. Just what could be involved in having this 12-hour situation for a motel, which is quite a distance from downtown, and the transporting.
Right, it's on Regent Street.
Yeah, the transporting back and forth seems to be. Is there an answer here? Do we really need some sort of a coordinated task force to look at the whole situation, to have, as you say, Bob, as some sort of disaster relief? I know really the COVID has been a disaster, but the homeless has been a disaster going on far before this epidemic, and it seems like it's time to address it.
Okay, yeah, John. Like, I'm sorry to say, but the virus is an excuse. Okay, deep down, the true facts are that this greater city of Sudbury has never acknowledged it because they're very uneducated in the homelessness and mental health and the addiction field. They do not walk through Memorial Park. They do not walk down Medina Lane or even Elgin Street. And until they can actually go out, and I will invite any councillor or mayor who wants to come out with us for a couple hours. They're welcome to it. But you know what? There's not one who would actually call. So if we get on these blinders and we can't move forward because nobody understands, but they will say yes, 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 we're going to go nowhere. I'm hoping that Carrie and myself, we do have a few plans for this city. We do know a few key players, and we're prepared to do whatever we have to do. And then I don't want to give out too much information, but there is a lot of easy solutions to solve this issue if people would listen and if people would act. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. Well, Carrie, you come from Edmonton. I think Carrie comes from Edmonton. Are they doing any better out there, or any other cities in Canada that can serve as a model?
No, they're getting worse also with the definitely with the economic situation. But they've always had like the same thing. It's not like an excuse with the COVID. It's always been there. It's just people refuse to look at it and they refuse to see it because they don't like it. And that's where if nobody's speaking for them, once again, I'm repeating, who's going to speak for them?
Mhm.
They don't know
And
how.
Carrie, I applaud your efforts, and I just want to focus on Bob for a second too.
Mhm.
Bob, you're what we would call a senior, right?
No.
No, you're not a senior. I just want to say, on behalf of all Canadians, much of the volunteerism that we see across this country comes from our senior population. So thank you very much for what you're doing. And I know, John, we've got to watch the clock here on this too, don't we?
Yeah, we're coming close to the end here. So I guess, Bob, what's senior or not? what do you? I know that in some instances you're 40 and up and you're into the senior category, right?
Very close. Very close.
But you know, I think we use that term as sort of a biblical one. We're all our brother's keeper, really. And in this case, it doesn't seem like we've really taken that responsibility on. What do you see that we can do in the short term? What pressures can CARP or other organizations bring to bear to see if we can resolve some of these problems?
Well, I think what we're going to have to do is make a little round table with you five people and us and hash out around a table. We're not pressured for time. And like I said, it's team playing, right? And we're sure we can be a team player of yours and vice versa. I know we're running out of time, but I would like to hit on the addiction for 1 second. These are naloxone kits, okay? There's 2 injections for every kit for overdoses, okay? Yeah. So one of these kits should be saving an individual on overdose. But because the drugs now are so strong and the people are looking for such a high, you could be using 2 kits, up to 3 kits to save a life. Wow. That's how bad the drugs are right now on the streets. I just had to add this in, John. Sorry about that, and we can get back.
Well, I think that's important because I know that you know, seniors are concerned not only for themselves but for their children, their grandchildren, and the number of young people and others that we're losing because of this drug situation. It's definitely tied in to the homeless as well, too. But there are those 2 segments. There is this interlinking, and we're all in the boat together, I guess, as they say.
Yes, that's correct.
So anything we can do, obviously, as they say, this is going out to our over 1,500 members of Ontario, probably across the country too, because it's not only a problem here in Sudbury, but Hugh, you're associated with our other chapters across the country, and we know that we all share similar concerns.
I'm sure, but I don't think this is being discussed as broadly as even just this little tip of the iceberg today. We've had other issues that we dealt with. I want to say thank you very much to Carrie and Bob for bringing this to us. And you're right, grandchildren, children, ourselves. We just don't. Addictions can happen. They can raise their head. They can overwhelm us, and certainly financial concerns during this period can make us crazy as well. So
I want to thank Carrie and Bob. You are our local heroes, really, for sure, by going out there and doing what many of us don't have the means at the time to do, but you've been able to do it, and we certainly, on behalf of those people who need your help, we certainly want to thank you and our community as well. And we just wish that more people can get on board, and we'll be doing our best to advocate for you.
Thank you very much. And who cares? We care. Take care.
Best of luck. Yeah, for now. Keep safe.